What you're seeing right behind me is a Bohemian Grove right in the middle of a ritual. I'm sure you've heard that some names came out of people who partake of this event. In just 1 second, I'm gonna have you watch an interview with what you know now. And I want you to tell me how it makes you feel. And then I'm gonna show you the certain people who are getting awarded and tell me how that makes you feel. So these right here are some of the names of people that were basically outed by the New York Post. Conan O'Brien, Michael Bloomberg, Aaron Schmidt, Paul Pelosi, of course Pelosi, right? Jimmy Buffett, Charles Koch, Henry Kissinger, Clint Eastwood, and Justice Clarence Thomas. But we do know all prominent figures in media, entertainment, even music are all partaking of these events. Like I forget someone said in the past, is where a whole bunch of grown men run around without clothes in the woods. So we all know what kinds of people go there, but not limited to them, even people who tell the truth go there too. Now rewatch this interview with Ellen and Selena with what you know now, and let me know what you think about it. And then after that, I got something to show you.
Guess what?
So I thought that you were gonna scare me when I came in. I don't know why. So in my dressing room, you have the bathroom with the cameras. So I put towels all over the cameras, and I went and peed in Kobe Bryant's dressing room because I was scared.
Well, you're right. I was trying to scare you.
Really?
You got here an hour early, and I was trying to scare you, and it was too soon.
Selena was just being a child. Ellen, on the other hand, she wasn't happy about her finding those cameras, was she? Watch again, the eyes don't lie.
Peed in Kobe Bryant's dressing room.
Now remember, all the people that got the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Mighty fine inversion, don't you think? Every single one of them completely unrelated from the very beginning of this video, right? Yeah, a lot of y'all might be new here, but it's always been like this.
This is why they were kicked out of 109 different countries over a span of 2,000 years. Has nothing to do with them being Jewish, has everything to do with what they practice. Check this out, okay?
The word goyim in Hebrew means a non-Jew in English. So for M15,
We're non-Jews.
even the best of goyim should all be killed. Yebamoth 98a. All children of goyim are animals. Baba Mesia 114b. Gentiles goys are not humans. They are beasts. Gachaz 2. A Jew may violate but not marry a non-Jew girl.
Makes sense with
Sander
everything
in
with Epstein,
54B.
huh? Look.
A Jew may have sex with a child as long as the child is less than 9 years old. Tospot
Their
Jebamoth
religion.
84b. If you eat with a goy is the same as eating with a dog. Baba Mesia 24a. If a Jew finds an object lost by a goy, it does not have to.
Let's wake up, friends. Has nothing to do with someone being a, quote, Jew. Has everything to do with their fruits. As Jesus said, know them by their fruits. You don't even have to be a Jew to be Zionist. Joe Biden's the one who quoted and said that.
As a kid, I'd say, when I was a young senator, I'd say, if I were a Jew, I'd be a Zionist. I am a Zionist. You don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist.
Friends, at the end of the day, there's neither Jew nor Gentile, nor male nor female, nor slave nor free. Like it says in Galatians 3, guys, we are all one in Christ. You're either in Christ or you're not. That's it. Literally says those who believe in Christ are Abraham's seed, meaning we are God's people. Who is my mother? Who is my brother? But those who do the will of God. Just like it talks about in Ezekiel 33:6, we're exposing these fools, man. We're the watchmen on the watchtower.
I found this book at the local antique shop yesterday, and it was written in 1926 by Major General Count Sheriff Spiridovich, The Secret World Government or the Hidden Hand, Unrevealed in History, 100 Historical Mysteries Explained. This man is explaining that there's a hidden hand, there's a secret government, and they are of the nature of the individuals who are taking over now, the blues with a J, that they are the ones that have been running society because they made a pact with a god. He calls it Satan, but that's his position. But I want to read to you this very specific, I have to be careful about what, I really was trying to debate whether to put this on the internet at all because it could really get me in trouble. But this particular page, I just want you to see this particular part. where he says right here, he's talking about proof of the existence of this invisible world government, this hidden hand. He says, the world is governed by very different personages from what is imagined by those who are not behind the scenes, i.e., not by kings and ministers. Disraeli said not others, but different, which means not the kings, ministers, or other similar men, but absolutely different, possibly even of a different race. Who they are must be known first of all, and only then can we control them and establish peace, but not before. You know how I'm always saying, I'm calling them creatures and creeps, and I'm saying they're not human. I don't know what they are. And this has been my biggest reason around this I ain't unifying, because I don't know what these things are. This apparently has been known. And this has nothing to do with religion. I'm not talking about religion or race. I'm talking about like a species of a soul or something that's on this planet. And that's what he's talking about here. Yeah, he says, Bismarck, the Iron Chancellor, perceived the existence of invisible forces, but could not or did not wish to formulate them, and called them imponderabilia, powers which no one could fathom. I think I saw where you could get this book, like a free PDF, and read it. I didn't try the link, but I did see something come up in my Google search about it, so maybe you can find it and read it. I don't know how available it is to get your hands on, but this is a very valuable book. He says I haven't finished reading yet, but it looks like he's about to tell us why France and Russia went into the War of 1812. He said it was a hidden hand that organized it. He says earlier also that the Civil War was absolutely 100% organized, and nothing about that was organic or true as far as the version of the story that they told. But yes, I recommend, if you could get your hands on this book. If you Google this guy, it's going to say he's racist and anti semi-truck. But that's because of what he says.
Gud, det ser ut som att de kommer från en helt annan tid, eller hur? Du kollar. Är han naken?
You know that Branson is higher up in the chain than Epstein is. People are really going to see Branson's name coming out a lot with that. I think that he was the higher up who was kind of running their trafficking corporation. So these passports that people were getting from Terramar Project basically make them citizens of no country. They become citizens of the water. So therefore, they legally cannot be convicted of any crimes committed on the water, and anybody could take them anywhere. This is one of the major ways that I believe that, they're getting by with this trafficking. And if you think how big, Epstein with his one little island was, just imagine somebody who's doing this internationally off the water with no tracking.
The official P. Diddy party list has just been released, and here is the list of all the names that they mentioned. The first one that was mentioned was Jay-Z, Beyonce, Jennifer Lopez, Usher, Mary J. Blige, Kanye West, Kim Kardashian, Leonardo DiCaprio, Ashton Kutcher, Paris Hilton, Howard Stern, Russell Brand, Mariah Carey, Megan Fox, Pink, Justin Bieber, 50 Cent, Kendall Jenner, Kylie Jenner, Lil' Kim, Drake, Snoop Dogg, Alicia Keys, Serena Williams, David Beckham, Victoria Beckham, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith, Chris Brown, Rick Ross, Nicki Minaj, Tyler the Creator, Megan Thee Stallion, Post Malone, Travis Scott, Ellen DeGeneres, Kevin Hart, Jamie Foxx, Oprah Winfrey, Quincy Jones, DJ Khaled, Madonna, Lenny Kravitz, A$AP Rocky, Cardi B, Kris Jenner, Lupita Nyong'o, Sean Penn, Tyrese Gibson, Zendaya, Big Sean.
Second video, regular roast, mock. We got mock tender steaks. Yo, that is wild. Gotta keep your eyes out, people. They selling fake meat in the stores now. And you wouldn't even be able to tell. Look at that, side by side, you wouldn't be able to tell. Look at that, side by side. You wouldn't be able to tell. Jesus. All right.
He says he was forced to make old food look fresh. That's why he secretly recorded his supervisor admitting tampering with best before dates is industry standard.
Every store does the same thing. All the other stores do the same.
At his home, Safari demonstrates what he says is done at work. He takes cheesecakes weeks past their best before dates, adds new toppings, and sells as fresh.
I decorated and I'm selling expired stuff for...
In a national online call-out, Marketplace hears from grocery workers at smaller stores and big chains, sharing stories of food tampering. He used to work in a Toronto area supermarket. He shows us how he was told to give old meat new life.
If it's like this, we would dabble in a little bit of blood, throw it into the meat mincer with some redder meats, and then all together it would make it look red. And then we put it back up on the shelf.
At the University of Guelph, a microbiologist simulated what grocery insiders told us they do. He discovered toxins and bacteria linked to serious illness.
It goes beyond ethics, doesn't it? It goes to safety and things like that.
Loblaw says it's investigating and plans to take action.
I never went to his island. I never went to his homes. I never went to his offices. So it's on the record numerous times. It then got, at the end, quite unusual because I started being asked about UFOs and a series of questions about Pizzagate, one of the most vile, bogus conspiracy theories that was propagated on the internet, that was serving as the basis of a member's questions to me.
They're eating babies, man. Like that's
you think, so that you think is real. So
well, yeah. Not only that, I think that there's sacrifices going on every day in Los Angeles. I mean, allegedly, like high level musicians, let's say, high level female musician is like killing chickens every day, doing sacrifices, like
high level.
Well, I don't want to say. I don't want to say names because I don't want to get sued.
He's allegedly in the.
Oh, I just got told that people don't know about McDonald's. Okay, you know the adrenochrome production? Okay, let's go back a couple of steps. Adrenochrome is adrenalized blood. It is developed when an individual is in a deep state of terror. Adrenaline pumps through the blood. And then they drain that blood from the person, and that's a drug. It's a drug of choice. It is produced on an industrial scale. Walmart uses its supply chain to transport around the world. It's transported in 44-gallon drums, say out of Holland. Now, how many babies do you have to kill and torture to get a 44-gallon drum? So what do you do with the bodies after that? Well, just put them into the McDonald's burgers. In US. This is US. I don't know about Oz, but definitely the US. When I say that...
The BBC are not reporting the news properly. The following people have been executed: Richard Branson, Nick Soames, Tony Blair, Duke of Edinburgh, the Queen, Prince Charles, Prince Andrew, Ghislaine Maxwell, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Stanley Johnson, Boris Johnson, Angela Merkel, Emmanuel Macron, the Pope, George Bush Sr., George Bush Jr., Barack Obama, Dick Cheney, Madonna, Tom Hanks, Mick Jagger, Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, Kamala Harris, and Justin Trudeau. Thank you for listening.
There are hundreds of people being cloned in underground facilities in Australia and in some parts of the United States. They can make a George Norrie in about 8 years from baby to you.
Okay.
The problem is the brain cannot grow that fast as the body can.
What happens to the human soul, Emery, in this kind of situation? Does the clone have a separate soul? We've all heard about cloning, but what if you or your friend or someone you met is a clone? Would you even know it? Welcome to Cosmic Disclosure, Emery Smith. Hi, Emery, good to see you again.
Good to see you too, George. Thanks for having me.
These clones, that could be just about anything, all walks of life. They could be ETs, they could be humans that are cloned. What do we know about that?
Well, cloning's been done before I even came along. They've been cloning animals for quite a while, and in the hybrid programs that I was associated with, they were cloning not only species like plants and animals, but they were also regenerating tissues of extraterrestrials and growing them and then cloning them. And then they started cloning humans a very long time ago. It's interesting now that in the news, after talking about this a few times, that now they're coming forward. China just has been doing it forever, but in their underground facilities, cloning people and cloning, of course, you heard about, they cloned their first primate. And hey, they can clone a primate. This verifies what I'm talking about, but they can definitely clone a human. And they're also growing humans for organs. And there's a big controversy behind this. But clones are everywhere. Human, extraterrestrial, they're wandering all over. Some people will refer to these as doppelgangers because they can grow a human to look like someone and mind program and implant them with circuitry and things like this. And they will really think they had this life and implant them into a business or into whatever organization they want. And if many times you'll be walking down the street, you'll hear people say you could look this up online, man, this person looks just like me.
Sure.
Like, why is that? How did they get there? And they have no idea that they're probably were part of this.
Watch it. The father's like ripping off his kid's clothing. So the father's like totally undressing his whole family. Takes out his penis and he goes over to the agent's desk. He starts slamming his dick in the drawer, just flattens it right out like a bookmark, and then just starts smacking his kids with it, flicks them like a wet towel to Jim. And he knocks one of his kids right in the eye, and the kid's eye pops out. Well, he looks at that as an opportunity, mind you. He just puts his flat wiener right in that eye socket, gets caught on the back of his retina. And he starts trying to get him off of him, and he's cockeyed. No, okay. All right, he popped an amyl nitrate. He's got smelling salts that he's been giving to his kids. They keep passing out, the fact that their heads are bleeding and they've been anally raped in front of an agent yet. And they do a whole cute little ta-da! Except two of the kids, they're half dead because they just had the shit kicked out of them. They're covered in feces.
They have Ashley and Mary Kate for Michelle. As a 3-year-old kid, they gave me a doll to talk to for rehearsal. A rubber doll, not even plastic, like a test dummy. It looked like a porn doll. It was just missing the stuff.
Sure.
All those things. You ever done that? You ever been with one of those things?
Well, not one that I would hold that would mimic a 4-year-old, but yeah. Have I ever? Yeah.
Sure. All the kids that were on the show were very young then. They're young. And they were up in their schoolroom or in the trailer. And mostly guys, a couple of ladies, but I had the rubber doll. I'm in the bedroom. I have to do Anthony, the morality play at that show.
The little speech.
Synthesizer music comes in, you start talking, and so
There wasn't at that moment, but that was the scene. So I'm in her room, and I'm going, honey, you know, I'm holding the doll. I'm looking into a rubber doll's head. Now, I was always a comedian since I was 17. So I said, I can't do this. Can't we just read it? Do I have to do this? They went, no, we need it for blocking. Cameras need to see it. You need to see it. So I'm like talking to it, you know, you can't do this, you can't do that. And then I just grabbed it, you know, and I just threw it on the bed, and I just started pretending, you know, that I was... my God. Right. So the crew's watching this, and they're laughing their asses off. But I did it kind of slow. I didn't do it, you know, I took my time with it. I didn't want to do anything to offend anybody. At first I was like dancing with it, and then I was like, you know, laying in the bed talking to it.
A little foreplay? Sure.
Yeah, exactly. And then it was very lifelike.
Wow.
What? Come on.
That's great.
You can cut this out, right?
No.
So one of the moms is the punchline. So one of the moms comes down, and this is all true, and she goes, "You got to stop this right now. This is on the monitors. The kids can see this in the classroom."
Keep redoing this video and trying to figure out how I'm actually going to say this so that some of you will believe me. Every day now, since they released that latest dump of the Epstein files, I've been going through them each day for about 4 hours. Taking breaks, don't worry, I'm fine, I think. I'm going through the victims' journals. These are 13, 14, 15-year-old girls. This is really, really, really disturbing. I just need to give the biggest trigger warning. There are pictures of sonograms in all of their journals. Girls are clearly stating that they're being impregnated, forced to be incubators, and then the baby is taken from them immediately after they give birth. Men like Mark Tremo, a professor at UCLA, is just randomly letting Epstein know that newborns will suck on their pacifiers more vigorously if it triggers a playback of its mother's voice in a recording. When they're all emailing each other, they're using code words. Let's take cream cheese, for example. Random, right? But when you search cream cheese in their emails, it comes up thousands of times. And many of these emails have been deleted, by the way. Let's just look at one. There are millions of babies. Very good little vegetable cream cheese. LOL, I don't know if cream cheese and baby are on the same level. It's okay, there's still enough time today. I'm trying to schedule priming for 5:30. Fuel explosion, 9:45. We'll bring a new engine startup video. I'm Jeffrey Epstein, too. We don't know because it's redacted. It's not a victim. Why are we redacting that, DOJ? Coconuts, used all the time in these emails. I ordered sweet young coconuts from Thailand for you. Why are these two coconuts being brought in from Gary Kearney to Jeffrey Epstein with bottles? And then he asks him on the bottom to choose one of them. After reading hundreds, if not thousands of these emails. They're using code words, guys. It's so fucking obvious. A bunch of grown men aren't just scheduling a bunch of pizza parties together over and over and over again. That's because pizza parties are CP parties. And you don't have to believe me. If you go into this address, somebody actually set it up. You go into that and it's like you're Epstein. It's his inbox. I have so much more proof. Epstein's operation was not just trafficking children. No, that wasn't good enough. That wasn't extreme enough. They were impregnating these young kids, girls, each victim over and over again, to then take their babies and those babies and then eat them. I'm gonna say this too, and I know I probably sound psychotic, paranoid, but I am worried for my safety. I am not. Never have been in my life ever. I love my life. I would never do something like that. My house is covered with security. I am armed and I know how to use it. Arizona, legal state to carry. All of you who keep sending me the sweetest, kindest messages, comments, you have no idea how much that has helped me. You have no idea. You are my sanity. I'm listening and watching happy things in between. I'm talking to family and friends. I promise. I'm not gonna stop. I barely got started.
Andromedans tell you that the Alpha Draconians are here now. Where?
There are 1,833 of them that have been living underground between 100 and 200 miles beneath the surface. They've been here, some of them have been here a long, long time. They have lifespans that are thousands of years. They're carnivorous. They are not friendly to mankind, at least the ones that are here.
Are you saying carnivorous, they eat humans?
Yes. And they won't eat a dead human. It has to be alive at the time of the killing. Their preference is children. You know, and we've been told, you shouldn't talk about that. You know, there are other people say, well, you better not talk about the reptilians. Well, you know, bull. You know, why not? According to the Andromedans, they're responsible for 31,712 children disappearing in the last 25 years from the United States. These children were food. And I'm supposed to just shut up and not say anything about it because people don't want to hear it? That's tough. That's tough. You know, Westchester County, in the last 5 years, 3,000 children in Westchester County, New York, have vanished without a trace. Where are they going? Why are we allowing this to happen? And why should people... stay in denial about it.
Now, how are they able to do this? How are they able to? How are they able to? How are they able to do it? How are they able to come up out of this from underground and do it, or do they have?
There are tunneling systems everywhere. They're being helped by the Greys, and also there are groups within the higher echelon that are actually helping them acquire this.
So human beings are abducting the kids and giving them to the Greys, who in turn give them to the Alpha Draconans?
That's right. That's part of the deal. They won't come up as long as we feed them down there. You understand? It's about human beings selling themselves out. The echelon attitude here, the needs of the few outweigh the needs of humanity. And sorry, that just isn't right. You know, but it's going to have to be humanity that's going to rise up and take the stand. You're just going to have to turn off your televisions. They're going to have to get in their car. They're going to have to fire everybody in Washington, D.C. that knows and does nothing. And they're going to have to do something. You know, this apathy's got to end. Otherwise, the way we live is going to end. Period. I mean, that's the bottom line. You know, and I'm not coming from a fear space. I'm really quite angry about the apathy and the fact that, you know, when people give lectures and try to tell this, people want to stand up and fight with them. Look at what's happening around us. The indications are everywhere. Everywhere. The truth is now an obscure thing. You know, the lie is the norm. There's something wrong here. What's wrong with this picture?
Do you know that reptilians and Draco, the blood sacrifices, the whole Luciferian thing, the kids being killed and eaten, I mean, that humans have been eaten and taken off planet, et cetera, and used for slaves in other colonies, etc.?
I hate to say that, but that's far worse than what you've just said.
It's far worse.
Yes, far worse.
Far worse, yeah.
And that, the whole blood situation it's unbelievable, and
right.
I don't know how we say that to the public. I don't know how. But well, wait a minute, just a second. On that part of this whole subject, to me, if we get into that, and I know all about it,
all right,
far more than
sure,
all right,
I'm sure.
When we get into that, if we release it, 70–80% of everybody that listens to your program is going to say, you're smoking pot. I don't believe that, and I don't believe anything you people talk about on extraterrestrial. And it's going to kill what disclosure is trying to do. That's my opinion.
The pedophilia is starting to be exposed everywhere. You know that much.
Yeah, but you know the part that I don't want to talk about.
I hear you.
Oh, pure adrenochrome. Is there some sort of liquid or serum that turns an old man into a young person?
The children being treated for sexual abuse, and I have provided all the documentation. And one day, the doctor said to me, I need you to come into my office. She said, this is a classic case of SRA. I had no idea. I mean, SRA, is that like an Irish Republican Army thing? I don't know what SRA is. She said, satanic ritual abuse.
These children are not just kidnapped and in some cases bred by families as a cash crop. We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them. And when they are sold, they come without birth certificates, which means it's easier to kill them.
But I was doing something to appease the devil. I'm sorry for it, but I really don't want to talk about it.
Appease the devil?
No, I was, at this time, I had was serving him.
It's not just child slavery or child sex abuse. It's also child torture, because you have adrenalized blood. You have the whole blood drinking ceremony of the satanic world.
For the most evil invention in the world contest, I invented a child molesting robot.
But kidnapping children? I'll kidnap 1,000 children before I let this company die, and I'll silence anyone who gets in my way!
Enough of the punchlines. That ain't showing me you different than the other guy.
Well, I don't know if they can run it like that, but ain't nobody else doing funny tight rap.
What's that?
Well, I could tell a story about my morning watching Boy Meets World and jerking off to the Panga Lorman's like the 14-year-old Topanga.
Oh, this shit like a joke to you, I don't get it.
It's like the 14-year-old Topanga.
Oh, this shit like a joke to you, I don't get it.
Tell me about Joe.
and your relationship with Joe, and what do I need to know? Like, what's the thing about the ice cream? He loves ice cream. Tell me about that.
Ice cream is big. Pasta with red sauce, he can go deep on that.
Joe Biden is going to be exposed as a major pedophile before he dies. And we are going to see some major celebrities. We're going to see some major judges, including one Supreme Court justice. I've seen 3 different witnesses say Tom Hanks is a pedophile. It's not just the Catholic Church. It's the Mormon Church, and it's the Christian Zionists.
Following images are disturbing. This all began after WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange released hundreds of thousands of secret documents detailing a backstabbing Clinton Foundation, but it now appears the real truth Assange was leading us to was hidden between the blurred lines of Hillary Clinton's campaign manager John Podesta's released emails. Fast forward past John Podesta's brother Tony's casual email exchange with Thelemic spirit cooking adherent Marina Abramovic. The Rosetta Stone was needed next, a verification that high-level Washington, D.C. predatory pedophiles were using a code to communicate child sex trafficking as casually as ordering a pizza. An FBI unclassified document from WikiLeaks revealed symbols and logos used by pedophiles to identify sexual preferences, to include those who sexually abuse children, as well as those who produce, distribute, and trade child pornography, are using various types of identification logos or symbols to recognize one another and distinguish their sexual preferences. Investigators should also be attentive to pedophilia symbols advertised on websites. During examinations of computer files, investigators should be conscious of subjects who try to conceal child pornography by labeling them with symbols instead of typical suggestive, explicit names. Thus, the interest in code words. Now, clues. The menu from Comet Ping Pong. Notice the symbol of the ping pong paddles and its clever resemblance to the FBI document's symbol for child love. All right, hang on, New York Times. Before you declare this fake news from your ivory tower, now look at the symbol for Besta Pizza, just 2 doors down from Comet Ping Pong Pizza, boldly using the symbol for boy lover as was recorded on the unclassified FBI document. The evidence begins to reveal that Besta Pizza and Comet Ping Pong Pizza may be competing for the lucrative Washington, D.C. pedophile market right out in the open. Comet Ping Pong owner James Alefantis needs to explain himself, and so he did, via the Hillary Clinton colluding New York Times. But so many questions remain unanswered. Why was this said by the band Heavy Breathing performing in Comet Ping Pong?
He likes the world sounds. Tamales.
And little boys.
And children. I think I was his manager.
No.
We all have preferences.
Why is the artwork adorning Comet Ping Pong's walls at the very least so insanely creepy, especially for a family restaurant? Why is Alefantis so close to Tony Podesta as revealed in the WikiLeaks emails? And why does Mr. Podesta collect questions?
Child screams, the wailing sound of death echoing in the background. The military's case was built on 50 video clips and 2,000 images, according to sources to Dark Outpost. A 3-officer panel, however, found the content so disturbing that it reached a verdict of guilty after watching only 4 snippets. Hanks, when asked if he had anything to say in his defense, showed no remorse for his crimes and told the tribunal that adult-child intercourse was natural and that he proudly supported NAMBLA, the North American Man-Boy Love Association, a pedophilia and pederasty advocacy organization in the United States. The tribunal declared Hanks received capital punishment and asked that his sentence be carried out expeditiously. My death won't stop anything. We are everywhere, Hanks said. 3 days later, Hanks received an injection other than adrenochrome. He was strapped to a gurney and had pancuronium bromide, potassium chloride, and midazolam injected into his veins. If any adrenochrome remained in his blood, it obviously wasn't potent enough to protect him against this lethal injection. Sources say Hanks screamed in agony, his flesh turned a bluish color, his eyes protruded from his head, and he died writhing in agony. Once again, Tom Hanks, executed at Guantanamo Bay in July.
Not stop there, because they didn't just kill babies. Torture them. It was ritualistic in nature. If you read the email, have a look. Apparently they were, and I'm probably going to have to censor these words out, but the babies were, and parts were eaten, including even the feces.
Oh.
Guys, all right, it sounded horrible. And the guy said that his feet were like cut with a machete, and he said that there were big names involved in this. George H. Bush, apparently a member there, and if you know about George H. Bush, you know he's a member of Skull and Crossbones, a big secret society in America who are known to get up to some very, very shady stuff. Obviously, guys, I'm not here to tell you that this is the truth. I'm simply to tell you that this document was found in the Epstein files. So it's up to you to make the decision on whether you think this is real or not.
Accused of selling bodies and body parts, a trial set to begin in just months. And tonight, new grisly details of what the FBI says really happened.
ABC 15's Nicole Valdez is live. And Nicole, this paints a Frankenstein-like picture.
Yeah, it really does. Katie and Steve, closed for years. This building off 24th Street and University doesn't look like much, but according to new claims in these court documents, the Biological Resource Center was essentially running a chop shop for human body parts, mixing, matching, and selling them in ways we'd never heard of until tonight. Described as unsettling, but it sounds a whole lot worse. One FBI agent revealing what it was really like inside the Phoenix body donation facility. In 2014, he saw everything from buckets of heads, arms, and legs to coolers filled with severed penises when the FBI raided the building.
Confused and angry. We thought this was going to be doing some good.
He even spotted a smaller head sewn onto a larger torso in a, quote, Frankenstein manner.
It wasn't a choice we made. It wasn't a choice any of the families made.
Body parts piled on top of each other inside Biological Resource Center, where families donated their loved ones for medical research.
Discoveries of sickness and disease, maybe come up with a cure.
Some say the company violated everything they promised.
Tragedy that's never resolved. And it just keeps going on and deeper.
The limbs, according to that agent, with no apparent identification. The company sued months after the FBI raided, families claiming their loved ones weren't treated with dignity and respect, a promise written on their own consent forms. The company also accused of selling body parts for profit after saying they'd only use the parts they needed and would cremate the ones they didn't and return them. A torso with a head apparently went for $2,400, a leg about $1,100. They'd even sell knees and feet alone for under $500.
There are so many disturbing photos in the Epstein files. I couldn't even cover all of them on a video like this if I wanted to. But we need to talk about all of them, and people need to see them for themselves to understand just how depraved these individuals were/are. And they need to understand that these folks are actively getting away with their crimes against children. So this appears to be on the Lolita Express, Jeffrey Epstein's plane. You can see Jean-Luc Brunel up top left. He is dead just like Epstein. And I think that that's a victim, two victims actually, in the chairs. They appear to be giving Epstein a foot massage. Then there is this image. I don't know who this person is, but this is in the files. It appears to be maybe a photo for somebody's employee badge or a driver's license picture. I just don't know. But it was subject to a protective order, meaning Like, who are these girls with this elephant? You can see down there, it's confidential, not for media use, whatever that means. There's the EFTA number. There are just so many pictures in the files, and none of them have an explanation. We don't know where these pictures came from, who these pictures are showing, what these pictures mean. And make no mistake, it was engineered to be that way by the FBI/DOJ. They don't want people digging, they don't want people researching, they don't want people knowing. Anyways, if y'all have any clues or any ideas on who these people may be, the context of these images, or just really any tips, please let me know in the comments, because I'm always adding things to my file, and I'm collecting all this information for a bigger purpose. I want to warn you guys, this is incredibly disturbing, so please, viewer discretion is heavily advised. People online have been talking about this file a lot in the last 24 hours. Let me just read this to you in full. A little context, this passage comes from a letter sent to the U.S. Attorney's Office in New York while they were preparing their case against Ghislaine Maxwell, and it's basically from a victim and her representation who claimed that she was trafficked as a young child. They even provide a screen grab from a CSAM video that they claim shows this girl being molested in Epstein's home, and they go through her full story. But I'm just going to read you this passage which describes a photograph in this document that is fully redacted. Keep in mind, this is not an allegation. There is an actual photo depicting this at the top of this page, but obviously they couldn't release that or show it. The photo shows photo's foreground, a man with a white shirt appears to be inserting his hand or something into her vagina. A round imprinted symbol of some kind is visible on the girl's leg on the underside of her left thigh. In the photo's right-hand corner, there is an arm with a green shirt visible. An arm holds the girl's knee in the air. In the photo's left foreground, there is a profile of a man with long sideburns, a beard, and a small bald spot on his head. In the photo's background on the left, there appears to be the unclothed top torso of a man. A man with what appears to be a black t-shirt and a blue shirt appears to the left of the girl. On the photo's lower left, there is a green structure which is hard to identify. The girl's mouth looks bloody and her tongue is extended. There is a bruise under her left eye and a red mark on the left side of her neck. Her left shin is bleeding and there are purplish bruises on her abdomen. Blank recalls the actions taking place in this additional image. So that is not something that somebody's made up. It's not an allegation. It's what can actually be observed in the image on top of this page. Here's the full version of this page. So yeah, the photo is right there, but it's redacted. And let me remind you, the US government, the FBI, the DOJ, they all want you to believe that no further investigation